Hey everybody, Donna Wood, CEO of Photonic Health, and today's episode of Health Made Simple, we are bringing you a fabulous lady, Shelli Orava, and she hails from Alberta, Canada, right next to Jasper National Park. Gorgeous, gorgeous part of the world. So Shelli, welcome. We are so excited to chat with you today.
Thank you. I'm pretty psyched about being here today.
Yes. So Shelli is a fascinating person, and she's got this amazing practice. She works with different modalities to get to the root issue for animals and their humans, which I think is super cool. Um, she uses life coaching, animal communication, and different healing modalities, the emotion code, the body code, the belief code. She's a Reiki practitioner, and now she also uses red light therapy. And essential oils. So obviously she comes with lots of experience, and that's why I was so excited to chat with her today, because there's some cool things that she's doing that I'd like to learn more about, and I'm sure you will too. So Shelli, thanks for joining us today. And I was on your website, and I'm familiar with emotion code, I'm familiar with body code. I'm not as familiar with belief code. So, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it all started with Dr. Bradley. I'll just start kind of the beginning and work up from emotion code. So he was a chiropractor and he kept getting these reoccurring patients. They come in with the same issues. And he thought, this has got to be deeper than just physical pain. So he started releasing emotions and he was starting to work himself out of being a chiropractor. And then he went deeper because he realized into body code that a lot of those motions are blocked in there. And then he taught us how to reset and reprogram some of the um, problems that happen with trapped emotions in the body. And then he discovered, he went even deeper with belief code that, and as most people know, between 0 and 7 years old is when we're literally sponges and we take everything in. So we create these programs in our body, these limited beliefs, these core beliefs, core identity at that age. And so if you visualize a tree, like your core identity is like the dirt under the tree, the core belief is the roots, the core, and then the limited beliefs would be the tree trunk, and then then the next is negative programs. And so we get people right down to the root what those beliefs are, and we
Yeah.
either replace we if they're faulty, because we all have them,
Yep.
and we can release them and then replace them. And it's really amazing to see people progress with that because it just lightens their load. I don't do belief code so much with animals. I
Right.
do more body and emotion code with animals, but
Sure.
often the belief code will come up. So if it comes up, we clear it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. Um,
yeah.
so, for those of you that aren't sure what a limiting belief is, it could be something as like, and I grew up with this saying, and so it's one that we've done a lot of work on clearing. Money doesn't grow on trees. So, it's something that a belief is something that you hear over and over again, and then you take that on as however you choose to, and most of the time it's a limiting belief. So when you keep hearing money doesn't grow on trees, money doesn't grow on trees, it creates a subconscious program of limitation of wealth. And I'm not just talking about monetary wealth, but like happiness wealth, emotional wealth, physical fitness wealth, things like that as well. And so, Shelli, I'm sure you've worked on several people with that sort of belief, but I wanted to give our listeners, like, that's just one small example of what a limiting belief could be.
Right. And often our animals will point that out to us in different ways. So they'll come up with a behavior. And I go, what's going on? So really important to check in with yourself when your animal's misbehaving in your way, how you think the animal's misbehaving, because it's like, all right then. So my Jack Russell, for instance, if I'm a little bit cranky
Yeah.
or my husband's a little bit cranky, the growls come out full on. It's like, thanks, bud.
Right.
So then
Right.
I will actually go in and clear myself and clear my husband, and then he's a happy guy. But holy, he's a barometer, I tell you. And all our animals are, but some of them aren't that. Some of them are really subtle.
Correct. Correct.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly. And so, how did you get into all of this?
Oh boy, I think coming from an incredibly dysfunctional family, uh, a very fun family, very adventurous family, but
Yeah.
yeah, just way too much alcohol and just never enough consistency. So, um, a lot of loss as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of grief
Yeah.
and just, I guess, a strive to be happy. And why do I tick the way I tick? And animals have always been my go-to. They were my salvation when my parents were fighting so bad. When I was a kid, I'd had a ladder outside my bedroom, which I told them was for my cats. And I would,
And they believed you. I love that.
who knows? But
Oh.
I would sneak out and go bridle my horse and just take off.
Aw.
And that would be the time when I could absolutely catch her because she knew this
Yeah.
girl was me. So she was my absolute salvation. She's yeah, and so that love for animals, how much they were always there for me. We always had 5, 6 dogs at a time. I don't know how many cats, horses, llamas. It's just a funny farm.
Just a funny farm.
Yeah. And I'm very grateful because we had so much freedom too because of that dysfunction.
Correct. There's,
But no consistency. So it's
right.
yeah,
But the inconsistency is what drove you to find some sort of consistency.
I
So,
think so. Yeah,
it's such human nature for us to want to put labels on things, good,
yeah,
bad, positive, negative, things like that. And at the end of the day, if we have a negative experience, it's going to lead us to do, or at least point us in the right direction of leading us to something positive.
that's
Um,
right. And because of that, I got myself into one really negative narcissistic relationship, and it's like, and knowing, okay, I created this because of my thoughts. How do I get to a place where I feel worthy and confident to find a
right.
good place in my life? So there's a lot of digging, a lot of digging, and I don't regret that. I mean, it got me to where I am today. There was all wonderful experiences, but some pretty not so wonderful too.
Correct.
But that's life, right?
That's life. That's life, right? Like life
Mhm.
is our best teacher next to our animals, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You work a lot with people and their animals and all these different wonderful modalities. What can you share with us share with us what's been your biggest transformation story that you've,
Oh boy. Well, people always come to me for their animals. People generally, I found, because as a life coach, they didn't want to spend money on themselves.
no,
And a lot of them don't want to dig into themselves
correct.
because you don't find a lot of people like you and me.
Yep.
And so it's kind of cool because you're kind of going in the back door to help them out. But as far as transformation, as far as that right now, oh, I'm not sure. Um, I just can't think of one off it. I know there's been many. Because what I do, because we bounce off each other, right? If your
Right.
if your animal's sick, you're feeling it. If you're sick or depressed, your animal's feeling it. So
Correct.
when we take care of ourselves, we're taking care of them too. And it's not just animals, it's our children, it's our spouses. I mean, we put out a vibration, we put out energy, and where we're at, that's what, if we're a higher vibration, we're going to bring people up with us.
Absolutely.
And so if we can clear ourselves and clear our animals and stop that bounce back and forth.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So what is your practice? Because I know you work a lot, like you are up in the gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous part of Canada, but I'm suspecting that there's like not tons of people up there. I could be
I live in a hamlet of about 150 people.
150 people. So I'm pretty sure not all 150 people are your clients, uh, even though everybody could be, right? So you work a lot, you work remotely, like
I
with
do.
people and their animals.
Yeah. So energy is energy, right? As you know. So
Yeah.
it can be done in my furthest client, I think, was Sudan. I had one in South Africa the other day.
Oh,
So it's
fun.
really neat because you get to meet animals and different cultures and people in
Right?
different ways. And it really broadens your mind and opens your mind on how
Yeah.
people live. And when somebody calls me, I don't want to know anything about their animal. I don't want to know anything about their personality. I just want facts. That's it. And sometimes it's difficult because people want to tell you everything about their animal. It's like, whoa, stop.
Quit the energy dump. Don't dump on me like that.
Well, it's just that if I'm going into the communication and I get something that they've already told me, it's okay, am I getting this from the animal or am I getting it from the person? I like to give the people the core essence of their animal.
Uh-huh.
So the personality after I've done the communication, because then they know, oh, she did connect with my animal. Otherwise, right,
Yeah.
you can just say anything.
Right, correct. Absolutely. And a lot of times, when we first started getting into energy work, you and I are very similar, I think, because I'm the fun one, I'm the explorer. I'm like, let's go try this, let's go try that. My husband's like, let's just build stuff.
Oh, exactly. Right.
Let's just stay home and build stuff and we're good. And so we got very early on, we got into energy work. And one of the very first energy classes we took was an animal communication class. And
Okay.
like, like, okay, he was interested enough that he still wanted to go because I didn't force him, like, I'm going to this. If you want to go, that's great. And so we learned very early on, like, how to suss that out because he was like, they can tell you generalizations and that could apply to everything. And once he figured out, like, oh, this is legitimate, like he was all in. So,
Yeah, that's funny. My husband too. I traveled back and forth to California probably 4 or 5 times. The course that I took was 6 modules. It was very intense.
yeah.
And he was not happy with me. And still, I started bringing home results.
Right. And still he started seeing results
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So is that what you get like the most of, like your clients are, is it mainly animal communication
It's
or
all. It's all.
it's
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
it's
And I
the
like that
combination?
because I'm like, I can't be that person that just stays on one topic.
Right. Correct. Well, and what I've found is, you know, we went and, we're Reiki practitioners as well. And we're certified in lots of different modalities, but it's just like a layering system. Like, we're also certified in spiritual response therapy, which is it's a clearing system. Very,
I'm familiar with that as well. Yes.
yep.
Yeah.
So, and life changing, like any type of clearing work is life changing. I highly recommend it to everybody, but it's just one of those things like, you can't, like when we go to work on horses, people are like, well, I just want you to come do this. And I'm like, well, I can't just do this because there's times when before I even get out of the car, the horse is already chatting with me. And,
Right.
I, I can't turn that part off. And so I let the horse lead me. And then there's other times where they don't want to chat. And so we do have to do, we'll do red light work, and, we'll do, and sometimes we have to do emotional release work on the horses before we can get down into those deeper layers as well. So
yeah, because they're just like us. Some are chatty, some are stoic and don't say a word. Yeah.
I tend to have, most of my horses are pretty stoic and are pretty quiet.
Yeah. Well, that's part of their nature to be stoic for survival.
Yeah. Well, and then I got 2 redheaded saddlebreds, which they're not quiet, and they're very chatty, but they're fabulous.
Yeah.
So, Shelli, is there any particular stories that jump out at you during your journey through this whole energy candy store?
I think when I first started, it was close to, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago when I got into it professionally. It was my 8th case. So what we had to do with the Gurney Institute is we did close to 60 cases. And they would be they would go apart and say, no, an animal would never say that, or, you're asking too many questions in such a way. So we really taught us to go deep. So I'm working for a safety company, and my boss's wife comes up to me and she says, I hear you're taking this course. And my sister has this dog. And I'm like, and she screams when we take her to the dog park. She screams when she has a bowel movement. And everybody thinks that they're beating their dog. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like my 8th case for the course. And so I said, okay. So I talk to the sister, I get all the details that I need. And I go in, and the first thing I get is this dog has an incredible sense of humor. It's just a little tiny poof dog, the cutest little girl. And
Right.
her family laughs all the time. They're jokesters and they have so much fun. And so I get the core essence, I get all that. And then I say, okay, what's going on with you? And so I feel too, right? So how do you feel when you're going to the bathroom? And I'm literally squeezing my butt cheeks because I'm thinking it's going to hurt.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And she says, oh, it feels so good. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why do you do this? What do you mean? Oh no, I'm sorry, I got that's so long ago. First thing she says, well, that's what the man does. And I'm like, what? The man?
Right.
And I'm like, how do I even phone this person? So I didn't
Right.
even know what more to even say to this dog. So I said, you know what, I'll come back to you. So I phone her, and I take about 20 minutes of kind of talking
Right.
to her, because I'm like, I don't even know how to approach this. So what happened was I finally asked her, and she cracks up. So her husband had some kind of issue going on where he couldn't go to the bathroom. They had little kids at the time. They're sitting at the dinner table, and he's like, oh my God, I gotta go. And he runs to the bathroom. He leaves the door open. They can't see anything, and he's sitting in there going, oh. That's exactly what the dog was doing.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. So, just so you guys know, your dogs are going to tattle on you, or your horses are going to tattle on you. So
I always ask
like 2-year-old or 3-year-old children that they have zero filter.
So I always ask the question, is anything personal come up? Do I have permission to continue?
That's very wise of you. That's very wise of you. I love that.
Yeah, so after that, they had taken the dog to 3 or 4 vets. Like they were so concerned.
Well, sure. I mean, that would be the first thing that I would think of is, oh my gosh, there's something physically wrong because, this dog is making this noise. But They do funny things.
We kind of made a deal that she could do that in the yard because she said it actually felt better when she screamed. Like it just felt good, right?
Right?
And we convinced her, well, it's not funny to your people, but but now that they understand they're okay, but maybe when you're in the dog park, you could keep it down a little bit.
You could just tone it down just a little bit. Oh my God. I love that. Do you often do sessions with the animals and the humans combined? Like do you often do sessions like if I go, gosh, I've got this anger thing going on and I just don't know what to do. And I try to control it or whatever. And somehow, well, animals are all connected. So, um,
Yes, I actually do. I'll do the person may need the belief code and the dog may need the body code, and we can get on
ah,
Zoom and I can do the person with them and the dog right there. And yeah.
that's super cool.
So,
Oh,
and it's fun when
that's
you do
good
them
stuff.
together. Yeah, it's fun when you do them together because they'll be sitting there going, "Oh my God, my dog's doing this or my dog's doing that or cat or whatever," and
Right,
yawning, releasing, and yeah, and
right.
then he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna ask you that question because it's sort of come up in the horse world. In the horse body work world, there's some um, information out there. I'm trying to be politically correct. There's some information out there that says that if a horse is yawning, it doesn't mean that it's a positive thing that they're actually releasing.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but I've never experienced that with my horses. When I'm working with them and they start yawning and chewing, to me, it's always been a positive because they're so relaxed and they're
Right,
fine along with it. Have
right.
you have you come across any situations where it's not?
No, no,
Yeah.
we worked
Yeah.
the first the first year that Brian and I were full time in the Photonic Health Light Therapy business, we worked on over 1,000 horses in a year. It's a
Wow.
lot of horses. Uh,
Yeah.
and we never experienced that, but we were also in the natural horsemanship world. So we primarily worked on, we were actually at the Pirelli Natural Horsemanship Campus working on students' horses. And so I think it's a different level or a different energetic level of horses just because those people were on a different trajectory and they
They
were
understood.
yeah, they had a different understanding and they looked at the horse not strictly as a competition vehicle and so I've never experienced it in like we've been working on horses since 2004 so but and so when I heard this theory come out I was a bit surprised at it.
Yeah, I've heard it a long time ago too, and always wondered. Another thing practitioners sometimes say if the horse chews, yawns, or look at you, then they don't want any more. They've had enough.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't know about that.
well
Yeah,
and usually if the horse is well in my experience like I'll get like the super chatty horses or the super chatty dogs. And
yeah,
they'll literally look and point and pick out and go, I want there. That no,
right?
there. Oh no, you're not quite on the right spot. You
Yeah,
need to do it there. But that's just been our experience. And then the licking and the chewing. And then typically if they've had enough, like um most of the times they'll sort of well I can feel it energetically but it's just sort of like you can just feel their energy sort of melt away and go okay I'm good right where I'm at.
yeah, or they'll try to walk away, or I'll
Right
ask
or
them. I'll just
yeah,
ask them and see if I get a yes or a no. If you had enough,
yeah.
yes. If you had enough,
I
no.
love that.
Yeah.
Be direct, ask them, they'll tell
Yeah,
you.
they will tell you. And whatever comes in your head, people think that animal communicators have the special gift, but we don't. Everybody
Yeah.
does it. And that's why I love to, I have some forms I love to give people to help them
Ooh.
communicate with their own animals, because I think the more people do this, the better world we have, you know?
So tell us about these forms. So you're gonna do a giveaway. So anybody that's watched this video, you have some fabulous giveaways for them.
Yeah, so one's a tip on communicating with your horses, one or horses, sorry, any animal. The do's and the don'ts. One of the things I like to tell people is really focus. Human minds are crazy. We got 100 things on our minds. If we're going to town, what do we got to get? Oh, I got to do this when I get home. Our animals can't focus in on that. So when you tell them, you want to be very direct. Sometimes I say, write it down first and keep out the do's, the don'ts. So if I said to my little Jack Russell, don't get on the couch, my mind is showing a picture of him on the couch. And he's like, and then I say, what are you doing up there? He's like, well, you just told me to get on there.
Right.
So you want to focus on what you want.
I love that.
Yeah. And then the next form is grounding them. And it's really important for us to be grounded ourselves. One time I walked into the SPCA, I do a lot of help with them this year. I haven't done so much, but and there's a three-legged guy, and his energy was just like. And I said to the person, I said, "You gotta ground that dog." And she says, "What do you mean?" And I said, "I'll show you how to do it right now." And that dog just went whoosh. Just it
Ah,
was just so beautiful to watch. But
nice.
but always check in with yourself first. Am I grounded? Is my dog picking up on this energy of me going because there's some big event coming up or whatever? Like, do I need to settle? One time I worked with this dog and I'm to the point now too. Can I do a little bit of energy work if it comes up instead of just a communication? And you always get yes, by all means. So I'm working with this dog and I said, can I ground you? And the dog says, ground her first.
Ah,
And I said, well, unfortunately, I'm unable to because I need to get her permission first. I'm giving you permission. And I said, okay, good enough for me. So I grounded her, then I
uh-huh.
grounded him, and then I did it together. And she phoned me. What did you do to me? I feel so great. I haven't felt this great in years.
Yay! I love that. I love that. That's amazing. That's amazing that you're going to give
Yeah,
handouts
so
to
it's so
people for
important
that.
because we're so connected, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You know, because people call me and go, it's all about their animals. But the more you talk and the more you dig in, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Uh-huh.
another one is mirroring. That's kind of segues onto what we were just saying. So why they mirror us and just things how you can sort of figure it out. It's a good article. None of these articles I wrote on my own. They were with my instructor or
Okay.
other associates. So it was kind of fun getting them out there. And
Okay.
then the other one is a meditation for lost animals. I don't do lost animals anymore because it's so draining.
Yeah.
So draining. I've done lots. I've found
Yep.
lots. There's some that I haven't,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's people out there that thrive in it, that are so good in it. I actually one associate that loves lost animals. So he
Right. Yeah.
directed me in the right
Everybody, yeah,
direction.
everybody has their niche. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has their niche for sure. I
Mhm.
love that. That is so awesome. So if you are interested in those handouts, just click on the link and it will take you directly to those handouts. And if you can't get to them, just please email our office and we will be happy to get those to you. And Shelli, if people would like to schedule a session with you, what does that look like?
So I have a calendar on gallupfree.com and they can go straight to that. What I like to do though is chat with them first. So I'd like people to schedule a 15-minute, 20-minute free chat because
Okay.
that way they can meet me and
Yeah.
go, do I want to work with this girl or not? And and the same. And sometimes just connecting with them, I'll know, okay, I think just an animal communication is great. Or no, I think you don't need an animal communication. I think you just need body code. Oh, no, I think you need both. Like I can kind of know just by hearing the person's voice. It's really
Sure.
important for me to hear the person's voice
Okay.
before I work with their animal.
I love that. So go to her website, gallupfree.com, and you can schedule a free 15-20 minute phone consult with her, just so it's a meet and greet, and then you guys can put a plan of action together from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that too, if they decide in that moment, I get the questions and the facts and what's going on and see if I can help. And if I can't help, I find someone that can.
Awesome. I love that. This has been so fabulous. Always love working with other energy practitioners and helping to spread awareness about energy. It's all around us. And I always, you always run into people that go, I don't believe in that stuff. And I go, well, the sun and the moon can move oceans, and that's all energy, and you can't see it. So there you have it.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah.
Right. And this is just, so um thank you for being on. I look forward to reading those downloads and learning more. And gosh, you live in such a beautiful part of the world. If you guys just go to our website, gallupfree.com, just to see the gorgeous, gorgeous pictures of where she lives. And I'm sure she would be happy to offer any information on that part of the world as well if you're interested in visiting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful place.
beautiful place. So we have not been to that part of the world, so you never know. We might
I
show
guess you
doorstep.
must put it on your bucket list.
Yes. Thank you again, Shelli. It's great to chat with you, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Okay, thank you.